Hello, good evening, Tuesday night. Today was a pretty productive day, all in all. I got up there early and spent a lot of time at my desk in my office today. I have all these stacks of paperwork with notes and printed out inspections with notes written all over them, and parts receipts and stuff from Cintas, the uniform people. Isn't that their tagline? Something like that. Just all this crap that's compounded on my desk. And I took maybe 3 or 4 hours this afternoon in between lunch and emails and phone calls and the normal stuff, kind of working through that and cleaning it up. And I now realize how much desk real estate I have as all that crap's put away. Alan's working on the 2000 Silverstone M5, timing chains and guides, got the old parts out today. No broken tabs whatsoever, though the plastic is exceptionally brittle at age 24 and 106, 108,000 miles, something like that on that car. Relatively low, but very brittle, yet intact pieces. So all of that's being refreshed. He had a pretty rough sounding engine, and not rough like misfiring, rough like something's wrong with this motor several months ago. And he took it to a shop up in the LA or Orange County area. They had the car, could not get the S62 tensioner guide, which I found out today is NLA, no longer available. BMW's no longer manufacturing or supporting that part, which means we'll be using the M60 pieces relatively indefinitely, which means I'm about to buy a shit ton of those, as much as we can afford to buy, because that part is easy to modify by drilling an oiling hole and adding an O-ring and reassembling it. The M60 V8, of course, the 4-liter in the E34 V8, the E32 740, and probably a couple other cars, maybe not. That car had a double row timing chain, and moving to the M62, like 540, they went down to a single row. So of course that guide got more narrow. So we have to use the M60 part, but all things considered, that's a pretty sustainable solution as long as that part's available for purchase. I've been texting Nate tonight about this. Now we're fearing it's something in the rotating assembly, so we're going to pull the oil filter tomorrow, go through that, hope we don't find metallic flakes. In the event we do, it's rod bearing time. In the event we don't, we'll proceed as normal after a timing chain and guide service, see how it starts and runs and sounds after this service, but there may be an additional problem in that engine. But things inside the cylinder heads and the timing system or timing case look healthy. Martin's on the M54, partial rebuild, I suppose, in that 530i. When he took the head off, he checked all the head bolts for torque to ensure that they would properly torque in that block, and they did. Today the head went on and one of them stripped. And that's because we're using new head bolts that are a torque spec followed by an angle spec or a torque angle, whatever you want to call that. And that's a different game than just retorquing the old bolt. So after a bunch of research, we're trying some thread repair kits. Those are not ideal in the case of a cylinder head to engine block interface, but the alternative is buying another used engine, which would probably do the same thing. So you'd have to buy a new M54 block, which probably means, holy shit, complete rebuild, double the project cost and scope just by having to drop the front subframe, take the rest of the engine out of the car. You're going to want to resurface and clean the hell out of and maybe replace everything. So we're going to see how far we can get with what we have. Anyways, came back tonight, had some pizza and breadsticks with Larissa. We're just getting to bed now. It is 10:40. Wow, the Apple Watch battery is low. This is still a Series 6. This thing is old. I haven't replaced it. Well, I bought the Series 6 new. I skipped the 7. I skipped the 8. Was there a 9? I think they're on 10 now. I've skipped both Ultras. If the Ultra this year were something special, I probably would have invested in that. It wasn't. It was a superficial upgrade, if anything, or like a software upgrade. Next year, when we see an Ultra 3, I expect that to be kind of a more full-featured hardware upgrade, and we'll probably bite on that. Lakers-Warriors preseason game, and I haven't watched NBA, I haven't read news, I haven't followed it, nothing. I've completely disconnected myself from the NBA since, wait a minute, can I even tell you who won the finals? It was Boston. I know that because I hate Boston. In terms of sports, I love the city. I hate the city in terms of sports. I didn't watch any of those games, but I followed a bit of news coverage. But anyways, I've been out of it since then. So new season, some new faces on the team. I saw kind of the second half. It was an ugly loss. Preseason games usually are. And Lakers management and ownership is horrendous. So they're not going to get anywhere this season is kind of my early prediction, just based on what I did read this afternoon in an hour on Google. But I think I'm excited for it to come back. We'll get into it. It's LeBron James, potentially a final season, either in his career and or in the city of Los Angeles, playing with his son, which is NBA history. That's never happened. So at least there's that storyline to follow and be excited about. But that's it. I got to go sleep. Talk tomorrow. Already hump day. Night.